Ms. Clary, you are petitioning the court for a paternity test to prove to the defendant that he is the father of your son, Gage, who has multiple medical needs. You say Mr. Asenato owes you $15,000 in child support, and you demand he pays you what he owes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Asenato, you say there's no reason to pay any money for a child that you know is not yours, and claim to have bombshell evidence to prove that you're not the father. You state that when you return home, you'll go back to court to have the $15,000 you owe erased from your record. So, Mr. Asenato, I have to ask you, you owe $15,000 in child support?
No way that I owe $15,000 on a child that's not mine.
He signed the birth certificate.
She's basically roped me into signing a birth certificate for a child that she told me that was mine and has taken me to court for child support. I've paid almost $15,000 in child support.
So you admit you do owe the child support?
Not on a child that's not mine. No, ma'am.
But you said you signed the birth certificate.
I did sign the birth certificate. She made me believe that the child was mine by saying that she was only with me.
You did sleep with her?
I did, yes, ma'am.
You thought you were exclusively together, girlfriend, boyfriend, committed?
No, ma'am. She was married at the time.
Your Honor, no, when we first met, we both were married. When we both met, we were separated. I wasn't with my husband for a year and a half whenever I got to see my son.
True.
Take me back. Let me understand this relationship. When you met, you both were married.
I was separated from my wife, and I moved into a townhouse, which was next to her and her husband.
And my ex-husband and I were going through issues, and we're separating.
Okay. So you all began a sexual relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
But both of your marriages were not completely over at the time.
Correct.
Tell me about the first night you all were intimate. How did this relationship begin?
We were hanging out next door, and we were all friends, hanging over there shooting pool, drinking, watching movies, and everybody left except for me, and one thing kind of led to another. He made a pass at me, and...
So you began a sexual relationship?
Correct.
And how long did it continue before you found out you were pregnant?
That was in 2007. My son was born in 2011.
Oh, 4 years?
Exactly.
So you all were living next door to one another for 4 years?
No, ma'am. That's when we first met. We lived together on and off over the last 8 years. When my son was born, we were living together.
She was not living with me.
Yes, I was, and I was also
When she got pregnant,
bills.
she moved in with me when she got pregnant because I wanted to do the right thing.
Well, she said that when her son was born, she was living with you. That was right.
Yes, ma'am.
That's correct.
That is correct.
Okay, so
yes,
what you're saying is when her son was conceived, she was not living with you.
No, ma'am, she was not.
So your point is you don't know if she was sleeping with someone else or not?
I do know for a fact that she was with somebody else.
Oh, what do you know?
I know Crystal. Crystal was married when she came to my house on the first night.
But you know, Your
me.
Honor, this other gentleman he's talking about, while we were not together, I was dating somebody else, and we split up 2 months prior to me getting pregnant with my son.
That's not true, Your Honor. I know for a fact that on a specific night that she said that she was going out with this gentleman, I called her. Crystal never answered the phone. Not text, nothing. All day, all night. Next day, I get a hold of her. Crystal, where were you? Oh, I went out to dinner with this guy, and I got sick, and I was in the hospital.
He knew I was seeing somebody else, and what I'd done at that time was none of his business because we were not together.
Your Honor, we've never been together. It's just
really, but yeah, we got 8 years together. We lived together multiple times.
So wait, let's get to the birth. I want to get to the birth.
Yes,
he was
you say after she found out she was pregnant, you wanted to do the right thing.
I did.
You had her move in.
Yes, ma'am.
When Gage was born, you were living together.
Yes, ma'am.
So
moved into my house.
Did you go to doctor's appointments? Did you support her through
Your
this?
Honor.
Did you go to the hospital when Gage was born?
I did.
He was at the hospital when the baby was born. My son was 5 weeks premature and 7'5". See that right there? There's a picture of him at the hospital with the baby.
This is you.
Yes, ma'am.
In this picture right here, you had no doubt this child was yours.
No.
You thought you were having a child with your girlfriend that lived with you and you all were going to be a family.
No, ma'am. Crystal got pregnant because we were fooling around. I was doing the right thing.
We were never just fooling around. We were together. I left a relationship and a marriage also for this man on multiple occasions, on and off for 8 years.
So you believe you're paying child support for a child that is not yours.
Absolutely.
And you think that's unfair.
But
you do realize under the law that once you sign a birth certificate,
I do.
You are considered the legal father.
Yes,
and you are responsible
Yes, ma'am.
for child support.
And I have been responsible. I have the payments right here.
He pays
Jerome,
it
will
when
you
it's
please pass me
convenient
Mr.
for him, Your
Asenato's
Honor.
evidence? What is
Now
this
we have
evidence
tied back up
pertaining
This is
to?
all my payments that I've made except for the 8 months that I've been out of work. Being that I've been paying these
He was working
$1,000
cash
at
those 8
first,
months.
the first
First 4
year
months.
I was at my job working in the oil field, it was $1,026 a month for one child. One child, okay?
But you know, Your
I'm
Honor,
not
I was
an NBA
paying-
player.
I was paying
I'm not a movie star.
$123
I work in the oil
$125 a week.
field. Anyways, regardless of that, she's
Because
always
he
making
quit his job.
accusations that I'm a deadbeat. I don't pay
He
my
is a
child support
deadbeat.
payments. You
He
can
don't
see
pay-
on that
he just
paper
started in the last
that you
6
can
months
see I've
because
made
I got
all
it
my
tied back
payments
up in
except
court.
for
The
that
last
first
year,
8
I got it
months.
back in court because he was not paid. He's only denying our child because of child support.
So at some
And
point you filed and
I
petitioned
filed
the
because
court.
I told him my son needed diapers. He's like, you're such a whore. Go work the street corner for diapers. So I turned around and went and filed child support. That's when he started denying my son.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. When did your doubt set in and why?
Gage had a lot of medical problems when he was a baby. He had colic, he had ear infections, he had multiple problems. He had
2
ear
weeks in the
infections.
hospital. Mr. Asenato never once called, never once showed up. He called maybe twice the 2 weeks.
I have a 20-year-old son, okay? My son's never been sick. My son was born at 9 pounds, 8 ounces, okay? This child was
My
born at
son-
6 pounds. He didn't look
No,
anything like
Your
my
Honor,
other
that's
son.
a lie. My son
son's
was
never
5
been sick.
weeks
We don't have
premature and
any of these
7'5".
sicknesses in my family going back centuries.
But
we
also
don't
the
have
doctor
any disease,
did
any sickness,
state, the
any
doctor
of
also
that.
stated this medical issue that my son has.
Mr. Asenato, I hate to say, but that evidence is
It's-
irrelevant.
My son has thalassemia, which is a medical condition that comes from Italian, is a Mediterranean descent. He is full-blooded Italian. I'm Native American.
Hold on, Miss Clary, go back and explain this to me. Your
My-
son has a medical issue that he deals with called
Thalassemia.
thalassemia.
And it's an inherited, it's a genetic blood disorder, and it comes from people of the Mediterranean.
You brought
descent,
evidence to explain that,
of
Jerome?
Mediterranean
Please hand that to
descent.
me.
Todd is full-blooded
What
Italian.
evidence is that? She prints it up off of online? Really? Is that
And
evidence?
this is what I do.
Thalassemia.
Whenever we're fighting, all of a sudden my son's not his. When we're getting along, he loves his son. That's his son. It's when we're not getting along or the child support.
not
That's the
denying-
whole
no,
issue is child
that's
support.
All right, let's get some order. Let's get some order. This evidence says that thalassemia is an inherited
Yes, Your Honor.
blood disorder, which basically the body makes abnormal blood. But it's most frequently found in people of Mediterranean descent,
Correct.
African Americans, and people of Asian origin.
Correct.
Now, Mr. Asenato, you're not African American.
I am not.
You're not of Asian
I
origin.
am not.
But are you of Mediterranean descent?
I'm Italian. I don't know
Which
what
is
that. I believe
Mediterranean.
so. Right.
So the answer would be yes.
yes, ma'am.
So
And I'm
this
Irish.
is one of the main issues that you feel like you don't understand why he's denying
Exactly.
that Gage could
Because-
potentially be his.
exactly. And-
Are
and
you of
Doc-
Mediterranean descent?
No, ma'am. I'm Native American and Irish.
But the gentleman that she was with is
No,
Mediterranean.
the gentleman that I was with 2 months prior to conceiving my son is Hispanic.
Hispanic.
You just listed off a series of medical issues that don't preclude you from being the biological father.
and I
need to hear
understand.
more about your doubt.
My doubt is the child looks nothing like me at the time when I had this doubt. This was last December.
Your Honor, my son
okay?
looks just like me.
Last December,
and,
I took-
last I checked, I was his mother. See, that's my big. How can you not love that baby? You know, in fact, a friend of mine sent me an app to try that shows you the comparison, even that of how much Gage looked like Todd whenever he.
Your
years
Honor, I
ago.
could pull up apps online and just send them to
I have it
people.
here.
It doesn't mean anything.
What is this app?
You pull up the parents, it does a comparison, and it shows he looks like he has so much.
So you submit
favoritism.
photos, you put them in this app, and then the app will calculate the percentage of likeness,
Yes.
meaning this one determined that Gage looks 68.3%
Of me.
like his father,
Yes, ma'am.
And 31%.
and then
of-
31.7% like you.
So I'm sure if I picked out somebody from the audience and sent that
Your Honor,
in
he's
with her
very
engaged,
talkative, very
it would
charming.
be
He's
the
one of
same
these types that can
percentage.
con an alley cat out of a tuna dinner. I mean, he's very charming. He's very, you know, he's going to make you believe anything you want to believe. I loved you for some stupid reason.
Regardless, Your Honor, this is what's come to
The
the
only
point
thing
of
is
this.
our son is the one that's suffering. The only reason I agreed to this is because my son is 4. Now he wants to do this because of child support. My son does not deserve this.
I don't want to do this because of child support. I want to
It's
do this
off.
because of medical.
You know, he waits 4 years. My son is 4. My son knows him. That's his daddy. And then now he wants to do this. Gage knows him as his daddy.
And this is really upsetting to you because you feel that it's about money. And
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't believe it's about Gage.
Yes, Your Honor, exactly.
And you believe Gage is hurting because of this.
Exactly.
Because in his mind, that's his daddy.
Exactly, that's his daddy.
So what is your
Father.
relationship like with Gage?
Oh, I love him. He's my little man.
Then why are we
Do
here?
anything for him. I'm here because if that child gets sick and he needs something, and a organ or blood or whatever, I'm not his biological
You are
father.
his biological father.
His biological
Your
father
own
needs
father,
to
when he
stand
was
up. He
first
needs to
born,
know
said
who
he
his
looked just like
biological
you.
father is.
Then whenever he was a
And
couple
if
weeks
something
old,
happens to him, and he needs something, we need to know where to go get that.
he tells me constantly, he's not my son. He has told him
He is not my
before,
son.
He is
The-
your
biologically,
son.
he is
his
not my
biological
son.
He's made comments to Gage before and makes
I have
comments
never
to me
said that to that
once
boy
he did on the
ever
phone.
once. She's
Yes,
the
you
one that
have.
says it when she gets
No, I
pissed.
do not. He denies
always
him
says
in
it.
front of me.
But let me ask you this, though, Mr. Asenato, and I understand if you're not Gabe's biological father, I, of course, understand why you would say you'd prefer not to be paying child support for a child that isn't yours. But you do understand that the care that you provide, the financial support you provide is an important part
Absolutely.
of his quality of life.
And that boy would never
legally,
go
you've
without.
signed his birth certificate.
That boy
So
would never go
on
without.
his birth certificate, when he looks at the name, that's you.
Exactly, Your
But
Honor.
that should be
his
up
daddy.
to me. It shouldn't be governed by her. It shouldn't be governed by the state
Well,
of
it was up
Louisiana.
to you. You
because he
signed
could choose
it.
to
I should-
win-
Voluntarily. What I want you to ultimately understand, and this is an important legal lesson, not just for you, but for men in general. When you sign that birth certificate, when you sign it, you are the legal father. You are responsible for the child support. And it's not as easy as waking up and saying, oh, you know, I signed this birth certificate, but now I have a doubt. It's not that easy. And you're living that now, and you understand that.
I do.
So, Miss Clary, I have to ask you, I must ask you, respectfully, are there any other possible fathers?
No, Your Honor. No. I love
Anybody?
this man. No, ma'am. I was, like I said, the guy he keeps claiming, we were on a breakup, and I was with the guy, I slept with him one time, protected, 2 months prior to my son being conceived. That's the only person I was with, and that was 2 months before my son was conceived. I don't sleep around. You're the one that I've been with. I have not been with no one else. Still to this day, I'm still with you.
And
I mean, 2 nights ago, we were together. I mean, honestly.
I'm not denying that.
But yet, you still call me up wanting to get together. And we weren't in a
Because
relationship.
I ain't got
but we
time
had
to
8
meet
kids.
anybody else. How's that?
Mr. Asenato,
I'm-
come on now.
I'm just keeping it real, Your Honor. I don't go out
on.
to bars.
Your
I
Honor,
don't go out to
I
date.
caught him
Listen,
messing around
listen.
when I
This
was
is just
pregnant with his
convenience.
next door
Both of
neighbor.
you,
Easy.
if you're gonna keep it real, let me keep it real. Everybody in this gallery, including me and Jerome, can see that you all have some type of bond chemistry relationship that's not going anywhere anytime soon. You all argue,
Honor.
fuss, and fight, but somehow you still end up together.
Yes, ma'am.
What I'm most concerned about is this little boy.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I want him to
That's
know
what
the
I've been
truth.
telling him.
I'm concerned that he looks at you every day. You're his dad. He calls you that. He regards you as that. You love him.
Absolutely.
And yet you're running around all the time with doubt in your mind and carrying a level of anger and animosity towards his mother, which isn't healthy for him.
What? I don't let him
And
see
then still
that.
sleeping with her
Right,
anyway.
you do.
So, with
will
that
cuss me and
said,
call me every name in
I
front
think
of
it's
him.
time for us to get to the truth in hopes that we can find a healthy way to move forward. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please?
All right.
These results were
ready,
prepared by
yeah.
DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Clary versus Asenato, when it comes to 4-year-old Gage Asenato, Mr. Asenato, in the case of Clary versus Asenato, when it comes to 4-year-old Gage Asenato, Mr. Asenato, you are not his father.
I did not sleep with anyone else. I slept with somebody 2 months prior.
Miss Clary, you had me convinced.
Your Honor, it was 2 months before.
We say in this courtroom, plaintiffs lie, defendants lie. But the DNA, it doesn't lie. It doesn't.
Again, I did not sleep with anyone. It was 2 months before.
Your Honor, that doesn't change anything for me or that child. It needed to be put on paper. I love him to death. I'd do anything for that little boy. I give up everything, and he will always have a father regardless who it is.
Thank you for that, Mr. Asenato. Miss Clary, you have the opportunity while he's still young to figure this out for him, figure out who his biological father is, find him, take the test, let him know, let him get involved. Mr. Asenato says he'll still be involved, and he's young enough that he can accept this. Miss Sand, you opened your case today in hopes of saving your relationship with the defendant. You say the only reason he is denying your 4-month-old son, Jade, is because he's an insecure man. If the defendant doesn't change his ways after you prove he is the father, then the relationship is over. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hundley, you say the plaintiff is sneaky, a cheat, and cannot be trusted, and you have serious doubt you are her son's biological father. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor.
So, Ms. Sand, it sounds like there's a lot on the line today. Explain that to the court.
Yes, Your Honor. Everything is actually on the line. I'm tired of being accused of cheating. I'm tired of him saying that it's not my son. I'm tired of just everything.
So this is really impacting your relationship.
It is.
What is it like in your home right now?
We fight probably like 3-4 times every week out of the week.
Constant fighting.
Constantly.
So all because of this paternity secret.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm sorry, but it's just really emotional on me, and I'm not really a talker for real. Like,
You don't have to apologize.
But like,
This paternity doubt, the relationship, it really is bothering you that your home is in this much turmoil.
it does.
But he causes this, Your Honor.
I wouldn't say that.
You do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I cause certain things. I say that, but it's not all on me. Like it's definitely not.
And so this paternity secret, does it come up in these arguments?
It does, constantly.
Yeah.
This is what we see. This is what paternity secrets do to relationships. Somehow they're woven in every argument, every dysfunction, everything. You could be arguing about who paid the light bill, and the next thing you know that baby ain't mine either. That's what happens.
Well, it all started with a text message, Your Honor. I lied to him about a message that he had seen on my phone. He took a picture of the message in my phone, and he came downstairs and asked me about it, and I lied to him. I said, no, I was not talking to so-and-so.
To be clear, before then you were in a committed relationship.
Yes, ma'am. We were together about a month at this point, and we had casual conversation before Jada and I had got together.
That's
And
always
then
the excuse.
I had sent him a message, and what made him mad was I said something in the message about solo dolo.
That's
And
not even the same person.
What is
it was the
solo
same
dolo?
person. Single. Basically, you're single.
So the man asked you about your relationship status, and you told him you were single,
Yes.
but you were really in a relationship with Mr. Hundley.
Yes.
We talked about that situation. Like when it happened, we got in our grown man, grown woman. We talked the situation out. But then we got new phones after this. She get a message from the same number.
It was not the same
It was
number.
the same
It wasn't
number.
even the same person.
She say it's not.
It wasn't even the same
It was
person.
the same number. I had
No,
the
it was not.
screenshots and pulled up the screenshot, same thing. 'Cause I'm looking at the screenshot and then her phone at the same number.
No, it wasn't even
So,
the same
so you're
person.
saying, Mr. Hundley, you all got new phones.
New phones.
But the same old guy is
Text
still
her.
calling the new phone.
number. And I asked her about it. I was like, okay, so how did he text you? Like, how did you get your number now? You got a new phone. She talking about, I don't know. That's her excuse to me. She don't know how you got his
Was
number.
it the same guy? Was it the same guy, Miss Sand?
No,
Were
it
you
was not,
cheating
Your Honor.
again?
It was
No,
the
it
same
was not,
guy.
Your Honor.
So why was it the same number?
It wasn't the same number, Your
Who
Honor.
was it then?
It was somebody that I used to hang out with before Jade and I.
A man?
Yes, ma'am.
How did he get the new phone?
It wasn't a new phone. It was a new phone,
was
but
a
it
new
was not a
phone.
new number. No, it was not,
We
Jade.
got new phones. We both switched because of the
No,
that
we did
situation.
not.
We definitely did.
No, we did not.
You say the number was the same, but it was
was.
just a new phone.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, What's the next time? Is there another instance where you felt like she was cheating?
I want to say, yeah, because after, there's a few situations, man. I actually got evidence if you remind me.
I would like to see it.
All right.
You can step over to your exhibit.
All right. So this is New Year's, right? And I want to say we was playing beer pong. We was enjoying ourselves, like having a good time. Like she's telling me she's going to bed. Like, and I'm like, okay, but I'm still playing beer pong, so I'm gonna stay down there for a little minute. So I did that. She went upstairs. I'm thinking she upstairs asleep. So I'm like, all right. So then I go upstairs after I'm done playing. I'm telling everybody I'm going to bed. I go upstairs, going to bed, ain't nobody there. I woke up the next morning and she laying next to me. See, I thought that was a little weird for real. Like, so like, okay, we sitting there talking and dressing. I think she had like shorts or something on. And then I seen a bruise like on her upper thigh.
And that's wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
No.
It's not wrong.
Your Honor, we woke up the next morning.
Hold on. Let me
Wait, see
finish
that.
this. I'm gonna give you a chance to respond.
She had a mark on her upper thigh, like right there, and bruise. I left bruises on her before in situations like that, but I know for a fact I didn't leave this mark on her. Like,
So-
this is a sexual mark for real, and I know for a fact I'm not the one that left it on her.
So it's a mark.
It was a mark.
Is that about the size of it, an accurate size in terms of the proportion to?
Give or take a little bit.
And
yes,
so you saw this mark, and you say when you all have been intimate in the past, you've left a similar mark on her.
yes, ma'am. And I asked her about it. I said, like, where did this bruise come from? And her excuse was she probably bumped a chair. Like, sure, I probably bumped into something. You ain't gonna bump into nothing on your inner thigh and get a bruise on your leg.
Can I show you where the mark actually was because it was not there?
Okay, show me.
We were playing beer pong all night. I was drunk. I don't remember what had happened, but I woke up the next morning and there was a mark on my leg, probably right about here, and it was just one spot that was hurting. It was the following day I had woke up, I went to take my pants off to get in the shower, and there was a bruise, and it was actually way bigger than this. It was like my whole thigh, like on the inside of my thigh, was bruised.
Definitely was upper.
So,
No, it was not.
All right, you can step back to the podium. So what I want to be clear about is, Mr. Hundley, your position is, I've left a similar bruise in that area when we were intimate. Was she intimate with somebody else that night?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know 100% I didn't sleep with anyone.
First off, and your ex be coming over there. if you
No,
wanna
he
get technical.
don't.
Yes,
No,
he
they all
definitely
kept-
do.
no.
Her ex come over there a lot.
No, he does not.
Yes, he do.
He
Her people mess with him.
he
And
came over there a couple times.
So, all right. So after these incidents, soon after this, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you find out, take me to that moment. Do you tell Mr. Hundley?
I do. I just had a feeling. Well, let me start with this. We were outside and Jada told me, I know you don't want to take the pill, and if you don't want to take it, you don't have to. And I said, are you sure? Because at this point, he knew I had been talking about a baby. He knew I wanted a baby. And I asked him, like, are you sure?
But you also knew I wasn't ready in our current situation.
So I just started feeling some type of way, and I told him, like, I think I'm pregnant. He's like, no, you're not. So I told him, I said, that's fine. I'll make an appointment for in the morning. Found out I was pregnant. I showed him the papers. And then all of a sudden, like, it just wasn't his baby. Like, it had to be somebody else's baby.
So, Mr. Hundley, you remember this time
I do.
when Miss Sand told you she was pregnant?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your response?
I didn't believe it. The reason I didn't believe it, though, is because all the things that happened prior, so I honestly didn't believe I was the only one she was with, so I definitely couldn't have been the only father in that situation.
So as soon as she told you, even though you all were in a relationship, your immediate thought was, I'm not the only one she's with, so I have doubt.
Yes, ma'am. Right off rip. But then she also told me that she ain't the father, or that I'm not the father. Like, yeah, she told me.
We had gotten
She
into it,
told
Your Honor.
you?
She told me I'm not the father.
She told you you aren't the father?
Yes, ma'am.
He basically, like, accused me of cheating. He told me he was leaving. Like, I was already depressed from being pregnant. So I already, like, just felt emotional in some type of way about it. And I'd said something out of anger, yes.
What did she say?
She flat out told me I'm not the dad. She talking about, she said something about leaving. Cause I said I was about to leave. She told me, all right, that's cool, leave. She's like, you with your dad anyway, I'm about to leave too. Like, I'm like, what you mean? Like, and then that's when we got into a whole big situation right there too. Like, it's crazy. That's just the first occasion.
So when Jade was born, were you there?
Oh yeah, I was there from the beginning of the pregnancy everywhere till today. Like,
He was there, but he was not involved.
So
I was I was there and involved.
You were there, but you were not involved. Like, he was not involved in my pregnancy like he should have been.
I was
like,
involved.
I felt like he
up
should have
until-
been.
She know why. It's certain little things that she know why I wasn't involved in it, but I was always been there, like from day one.
Yes, you have been there from day one. I'm not denying that, but you were not physically involved, rubbing my belly, kissing my, you know what
There was not the emotional connection.
There was not at all.
It's not, but that's also like on when the day he was born. Like she told me before I signed the birth certificate with a smirk on her face, talking about she's like, yeah, you sure you want to sign that without getting the DNA test?
I did not. I said.
Yeah, she did. Like, yeah.
That's not what you want to hear in the delivery room.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
He had kept making comments throughout my whole pregnancy. And I told him, I did. I said, before you sign his birth certificate, you should probably get your DNA test before. Because I wanted to name him something else. He insisted on him being Jade the Second. And it just kind of went from there, and it hurt my feelings after hearing that for 9 months, that you think he's not yours.
So you're saying you were just saying that as a dig, like you might want to get your DNA test since you've been denying that he's yours.
Exactly.
But you understand that that is not what a man is ever gonna hear. At that point, in his mind, you pretty much admitted that there's another possibility.
Well.
So, Mr. Hundley, did you sign the birth certificate?
I signed it. I definitely did because I wanted to.
So why did you sign it if you have all this doubt?
Because, I mean, I kind of grew up in the same similar situation. When I was 18, I found out the man that raised me ain't my real dad, for real, like. And that hurt me for real, too, because, I mean, the man had been there my whole life, for real, like. Okay.
And I can see how emotional that makes you.
I'm sorry, Mom.
You just did not want the same for that little boy.
Nah. I apologize, Your Honor.
You don't have to apologize. You don't ever have to apologize for speaking your truth and honoring a child in this courtroom. That's why we do this.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to apologize.
Man, but it was just something, like, because I didn't even know how much of a toll it took on me, for real. Like, I still don't know my real dad, for real. And it's like, it's kind of hard, because it's like a piece of me missing, like,
We understand, honey. That's why we do this.
I can't even explain it, for real, man. I just know that I don't want him to go through that same situation.
Yeah.
It's just...
You want to break a cycle.
Definitely do, yes.
And
It got to.
if in fact he is your child, you want to be able to say to them, you were there from the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've built a bond, I see.
Yes, ma'am.
A beautiful bond.
Definitely do. That's my little man right there, man. Man, but I feel like I don't even know, man.
But you feel like on one hand you look at him and you see the beautiful bond you're building,
Yes,
but in the
it
next
hurt.
thought,
It's hurt because I don't know for sure. Like, it's like I gotta be sure for real. And I know he just caught in the middle right now because it's not even his fault for real. It's me and her for real. Like,
and you don't want him to have to wait 18 years to get the truth like you did.
yes, ma'am. Definitely don't.
So, Mr. Hundley, what if he's not your biological son? Where do we go from there?
See, I don't really know. I don't think it would be a relationship after that. It's hard for real. Like, I don't even know.
Who do you think his father is?
If it's not me, I would have to say probably her ex or something.
Does the ex know about Jade?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has the ex met Jade?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why has the ex met Jade?
He had kept in contact with my family when we split up.
All right, well, what I've heard from the testimony is you gave him reason to believe there could be somebody else. The moment you say, this isn't your baby anyway, the ex, everybody, the mailman, the post, I mean, whatever. That's how it goes. And I know maybe you said it out of anger, but at that point, his doubt was sealed. And we can't turn back from that now. All we can do is move forward to the truth, and I have that for you. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Sand versus Hundley, when it comes to 4-month-old Jade Hundley II, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Hundley, you are the father. You are the father.
Man. Yeah, this is the best feeling. I can't even explain it. Man, yeah, that's my little homie, man. Man.
You set out to break a cycle of paternity doubt,
Yes, ma'am.
secrets, and you did that. You did that for an innocent little boy.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean to you to do that for this beautiful
It
child?
means everything in the world, 'cause I still ain't have that done for myself. So if I can do that for him, yeah, like, gotta get that done, man.